The most popular animal for a pet is freshwater fish. Next comes the cat, followed by a dog. An Indiana state prison allows murderers to adopt cats in their cells to help teach them love and compassion for other living things. A penguin can hold its breath for 20 minutes. According to scientists, the weight of the average cloud is the same as 100 elephants. The average person has 10,000 taste buds, which are replaced every 2 weeks or so. A flame is round and blue when in zero gravity. Chinese soldiers stick needles in their shirt collars in order to keep a straight posture during military parades. When Shakira was in the 2nd grade, she was rejected from the school choir because her music teacher didn't think she could sing and thought she sounded like a goat. Real diamonds don't show up in X-rays. Bruce Lee's reflexes were so fast that he could snatch a quarter off of a person's open palm and replace it with a penny before the person could close their fist. In the late 90s, there was a Russian TV show called The Intercept where contestants had to steal a car. If they didn't get caught by police in 35 minutes, they got to keep the car, otherwise they were arrested. There's a school called Ordinary Miracle in Yashkar-Ola, Russia, that looks like a fairy tale castle. A man named Sergei Mamayev had built it for his wife, who wanted to teach at a school that children would actually want to go to. The pinky swear came from Japan and indicated that if someone broke the promise, they must cut off their pinky. The Prince Charles Cinema in London has volunteer ninjas that sneak up and hush anyone in the theater that's making noise or throwing things. A California couple named Helen and Les Brown were both born on December 31 Street, 1918, were married for 75 years, and then died one day apart at the age of 94 in 2013. If you put an apple in the sea, it will float because it's less dense than water. In World War II, Jacqueline Lucas lied his way into the military and became the youngest Marine ever to earn a Medal of Honor. When he was 17, he threw himself on 2 live grenades to protect his squad members and survived. In Cambodia they sell Happy Pizza, which is a cheese pizza garnished with weed on top. Noah Webster, the creator of the first ever American dictionary, learned 26 languages so that he could understand and research the origins of his own country's tongue in order to write it. There's a lake in Australia called Lake Disappointment that was named and found by Frank Hann in 1897, who was hoping to find fresh water but instead found salt water. There is enough carbon in your body to make over 9,000 pencils. The Mona Lisa has no eyelashes or eyebrows. The reason a whip creates a whipping sound is because it's moving quicker than the speed of sound, creating a small sonic boom. In the 1960s, Alcatraz was the only federal prison at the time to offer hot water showers for its inmates. The logic behind it was that prisoners who were acclimated to hot water would not be able to withstand the freezing waters of the San Francisco Bay during an escape attempt. In the United States, the government can legally read any emails that you have that are over 180 days old without a warrant. The Electronic Communications Privacy Act was enacted long before everybody had email, and the law still allows them to do this. There is a bottle of vodka that costs $3.75 million, and it's filtered through sand made from crushed diamonds and gems. For the past 15 years, a Bulgarian man named Dobry Dobrov has walked up to 25 kilometers every single day to beg for money for orphanages that are unable to pay their bills. He turned 101 in July of this year. In 2006, Michigan woman Lynn Sterling tried to sell a mummified human skeleton on eBay. eBay removed the posting because it violated their policy against selling human remains. The pet rock became so popular when it came out that within the first 6 months of its release, Gary Dahl, the inventor, earned $15 million. In 1963, Alfred Heineken designed the Heineken World Bottle, a brick that holds beer that can be used to build houses. Unfortunately, the project never came into fruition, and the Heineken Estate and Museum are the only 2 places in the entire world with a beer brick wall. Treadmills were actually created to punish English prisoners in 1818. Wu Sha, from China, had an ex-girlfriend and current girlfriend jump off a bridge into a river to see who he would rescue. He rescued his current girlfriend. During the British Secret Services created a special edition of Monopoly for prisoners of war held by the Nazis. The games were distributed by fake charity groups created by the Secret Services and contain maps, compasses, real money, and other objects useful for escaping. In 1998, workers restoring Benjamin Franklin's home uncovered the remains of 10 people. Researchers suspect that a house guest of Franklin's smuggled in dead bodies to use for anatomical research and buried them in the basement. Zombie birds are a species that have learned to track down tiny bats, split open their skulls, and feed on their brains. Brazil participated in WW2, the only independent South American country to do so. The 2500 Troop Brazilian Expeditionary Force worked alongside the Allies and managed to take 20,573 Axis prisoners, consisting of 2 generals, 892 officers, and 19,679 other ranks. If you are Jewish and can trace your ancestry back to the Spanish Inquisition 1492, you qualify today for Spanish citizenship. John Marley's scream of terror after seeing the horse head in The Godfather is genuine, as they used a fake in rehearsals and swapped for a real head during shooting without Marley's knowledge. One of the perks of being an Oscar winner is that you can have your Oscar repaired for free by the Academy. Italian singer Adriano Celentano released a song in the 70s with nonsense lyrics meant to sound like American English, to prove that Italians would like any English song. It was a hit. When Coco, the gorilla famous for knowing sign language, was asked where gorillas go after death, she responded by signing "comfortable hole by." Infinite monkey theorem states that monkeys with typewriters an infinite amount time could produce the entire works of Shakespeare. This theorem was tried out in real life, but only for a month. The 6 monkeys wrote 5 pages of S, slammed the keyboard with a stone and took a shit on it. In 1959, the guy who wrote Louie Louie sold the song's rights for $750 to pay for his wedding. In the mid-80s, he was living on welfare with his mom in South Central LA, when a lawyer convinced him to take action to get the rights back. He settled out of court and became a millionaire. Matthew McConaughey has a food fetish and sometimes has to stop eating because he gets too sexually aroused by the food. When Michael Bay was a kid, he used to put firecrackers on his toy trains and film the results. The wood frog, commonly found in Canada, lets itself completely freeze into a frogsicle every winter. Its heart comes to a standstill, blood stops flowing, and eyes go white because its lenses freeze. In the summer it thaws and hops away, good as new. People literally grow trees and roots into bridges, chairs, ladders, fences, jungle gyms, tunnels, etc. It is known as tree shaping. Theoretically, it can even be used to grow homes. In the fallout with Don King, Mike Tyson discovered a fan club that had been hidden from him for years. Among the fan letters was one from a boy dying of cancer, asking for a phone call. Mike called immediately, but was a year too late. He broke down and cried. Daniel Webster, who ran for president and lost 3 times, declined the vice presidency twice, thinking it a worthless office. Both presidents who offered it later died in office, meaning that if he had accepted, he would have become president after all. Written about 1700 BC, the Edwin Smith Surgical Papyrus contains the first recorded use of the word brain. In 1904, US President Theodore Roosevelt threatened to outlaw football after 19 college football players were killed or paralyzed from brain or spinal cord injuries. When neuroanatomist Santiago Ramon y Cajal was 11 years old, he destroyed a neighbor's gate with a homemade cannon and spent 3 days in jail. Bruxism, or grinding of the teeth, causes tooth and jaw pain in 15-20 of people in the USA. The Centers for Disease Control (CDC) estimates that 500,000 people in the USA exhibit symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome. Depression occurs in 2% of elementary school-aged children and 4-8 of adolescents.